getting ads to work for you 100% of the time. Now, I was going to do the next walk and talk with my actual camera at home, but I just got my hair cut there. I know, took a swing, missed, and then the most amazing Italian sandwich shop here is going to have my sandwiches ready in like 10-15 minutes. So I thought I would just rock and roll through this. I planned to record on Thursday. But essentially, I want to go through a quick system here. A lot of people think ads are, you know, everybody has an opinion about them and how they work. And sure, if anybody's been watching us for any length of time, you see us share wins every single day. You know, our hit rate is absolutely sensational using the Shoney 255 method for the sheer fact that it increases the likelihood of success by 50 times. And you only need to find one winner within 50 variations, where most people are using just 1 or 2 variations to actually get the result. However, people don't realize that, you see, if something still isn't going well, whether it was like with that system or in general just with ads anyway, that there are routes to still getting to a positive outcome. And I really want everybody to absorb this, because again, these walk and talks I feel are always quite creatively going into places that most people aren't actually talking about. So when we talk about adverts and putting them up and giving them the best chance of success, of course we are trying to give them the best chance of an amazing out of the park success right from the get-go. However, what we tend to find is that whenever we launch a campaign, that we're going to have winners and we're going to have losers. In the Shoney 255 method, that's the whole point of it, is testing so that we can find the best ad sets, the best audiences, the best ad creative. Then we take everything out and then we put all the budget into the things that are working. It gives us amazing ROIs and then we get to scale it. However, something that I want people to know, whether you use our system or not, is that first of all, you can always take data from the campaign to figure out what is working and what isn't working. It's literally right in front of you. It can literally tell you what is working and what isn't working. But I'm also going to speak to you in a couple of minutes about what happens if there's no indications of success whatsoever. Where do you go from there? Does that just mean that ads don't work for you? Then I want to give you the solution right there as well. So let's talk about, you launch an ad campaign using our system or not, it doesn't really matter. Looking at the ad results after a few days and asking yourself, are these good? Can they be better? How can they be better? What do I do to make them better? Well, the first thing is that, are you getting leads? Let's look at like success overall. Are you getting leads? Are you getting sales? Depending upon if you're sending somebody somewhere where they can give you their name, email address, phone number, or book in a consultation call or something to that effect, versus, you know, sending them to a landing page because you want them to sign up to like a 6-week challenge for 97 bucks. So are you getting leads or are you getting sales, depending upon what it is that you're looking for? That's going to be the first main indication of success. The second thing is going to be, is it at a cost per lead that you can really stomach? Okay, so in most cases here, we tend to find that a lot of the time people will come to us and say, no, I've been told by my mentors that the cost per lead is actually really good, but they're saying that I'm not good enough on calls, or I'm not good enough at this, or I'm not good enough at that. And then the cost per lead that they're telling me is like 12 bucks per lead or 11 bucks per lead or something to that effect. If you're in general pop, for instance, so if you're in, you know, normal, non-business to business, you're working with consumers and it's not super niched, you're looking at anywhere between 30 pence per lead for a name, email address and phone number, right up to anywhere in the region of about 250 is where you're gonna land. It does depend upon male, female, it does depend upon the country that you're in, it does depend upon what it is that you're asking them to opt in for. Is it a 5-day challenge? Is it a lead magnet? Is it a recipe guide? Is it a template? Is it this, that, the other? There's different pros and cons across them, right? But that's the type of thing that you're looking for here. And if you've got those types of numbers, then fantastic. If you are in the business to business space or something that is very, very niche, then if you're getting anywhere below £4 or £5 per lead, then that's really good. Now, we've got people in the business space inside the program. Kate, for instance, she runs a masterclass in the business to business space and she has about 40 to 50 pence per lead. She has hundreds of people show up to each of her masterclasses. So results can be absolutely fantastic. once you use the Shoney 255 method, right? However, that's the first thing to note there. It's just looking at the main things that really matter. People look at cost per click, how many people were reached in the ad. The main thing that you're looking for is the actual cost per lead. It doesn't matter if only 15 people saw your ad, if all 15 of them opted in, right? It doesn't really matter. All that matters is cost per lead, and is that at a number that you're happy with so that you can indeed scale. If that's happening, sure, I would be telling you in an ad review, change this, turn this off, turn this. But realistically, if you don't want any help whatsoever, if the cost per lead is good, the next thing for you to do is to start the scaling process, okay? So you're already getting ads to work. Let's say your cost per lead is like £8.50 a lead, right? And you need to get it below £2.50. Well, if you're using the Shoney 255 method, the first thing that you want to look at there is within the ad sets, the 5 different audiences in cold, the 5 different audiences in warm, which of them are actually achieving a cost per lead at £2.50 or below? Because inside that campaign, you're probably going to find that some ad sets are spending money and have 0 leads. Some of them are spending money and have £16 leads, and some of them actually have cost per leads that are coming in at below £2.50. The absolute massive outliers, you can delete them, you can take them away, you can just turn them off, flick the switch, and all the ad budget therefore has to go into the ad sets and audiences that are already much more successful, okay? If from there you still need to refine a little bit further, then the next thing that you can do is you can go into the ad creative. That would be the next step, and that is when you look at any outliers. And I'm not looking at the least successful ad creatives, so that's the images, the copy, etc. I'm not just looking for the ones that are the least successful in each ad set and then switching them all off, because this is maybe for a deep dive for another day, but the way ads work is if you give Facebook 5 different ads to put in front of an audience, what you're realistically doing there is you're giving them the opportunity to re-engage the same person multiple times. So imagine if I had one advert, it was a black image with white writing and some copy, and I put that in front of you and you said, that's quite interesting, but I'm not going to opt in, Neil. Well, if I only had one advert, that same ad would hit you about 50 times. You would see the same thing over and over again. It would be blunt and get blunter until you just had absolutely no interest in whatsoever, and you wouldn't be opting in. However, on the contrary, if I also had a video in there, if I also had a pink image in there, if I also had an image of myself doing something silly, if I had, like variation is essentially what I'm saying here. If you've got that variation in there, then guess what? You're gonna have you're gonna have the opportunity for the first image that you see to engage you, and the second image you see to engage you just in the same way, so that you stop scrolling, you reread, you might even be seeing different copy with a different call to action, but all going to the same outcome, okay? So that's how ads work together. So sometimes you see ads that don't have a good cost per lead, and then if you turn them off, you see the cost per lead for the overall campaign actually go up. So that's why I'm always a bit stringent about turning things off. However, if you look at the whole campaign and you see that image number 4 is always an underperformer, that's when you have an indication that a piece of creative should be turned off, okay? And when you do this system, you test broadly, you find winners, you see if the cost per lead is already good, the cost per sale is already good, and then you go to the second step there of saying, okay, the cost per lead isn't quite where we want it, or hey, it can always get better. Even with Kate, for instance, at a ridiculous cost per lead like that, we still do an ad review with her every single time to look over the ads, to optimize them further, to see if we can get the ads even lower, because there's always room for growth. But once you've done those 2 steps there, let's say that you have used variation. Let's say that you've gone to the ad sets and you've tried to find the lowest cost ones, but they're still high. The lowest cost ad sets are like, £6.50 or £7.50 per lead. Then you've done some additional changes to the ad creative. Maybe even threw in a different ad set after that, and it still didn't go to plan. Well, what can you do at that point? Well, at that point, you might need to change what the whole strategy is, okay? So a lot of people at that point say ads don't work for me, but you might just need to change what it is. For instance, let's say that you were trying to run a 5-day challenge and you're a guy that works with guys, high skepticism, and typically depends on niche, but very often doesn't work, okay? 5-day challenges, those demographics, that person selling to that person, etc., okay? In that type of situation, it doesn't mean that ads don't work for you, it means that you need a different strategy. So it might be that live masterclass is better, a lead magnet, it might be messenger ads, it might be boosted posts with a conversation on the other side. There's many different strategies that might be a better fit for you. Further to that, it can be as simple as, let's say a transformation coach does a 5-day transformation challenge and they have a cost per lead at £4.50 and it's not good enough. Well, they might change it to a 5-day get ready for the beach transformation challenge, right? You change the name, you change the seasonality, you change the outcome behind it. Maybe you change it to drop a dress size challenge or something to that effect, so the outcome is more specific to the exact niche that you're working with. Or if you work with guys, maybe it turns into a 5-day drop a belt buckle challenge, right? So again, you're speaking even more so to your demographic. Well, in that scenario, that tiny tweak there can then be replugged back in to ads using the Shoney 255 method, and then you might find that leads come in at £1.20. Okay, so that third step is really key there, because albeit that we don't find it very often that we have to go to step 3 there, a lot of coaches end up shooting themselves in the foot, assuming that that means that ads don't work for them. They never get to utilize the shortcut to grow their coaching business ever again, because their perception around ads is ads do not work, or ads do not work for me. They seem to work for other people. I don't know how that happens, but they don't work for me. What you need to look at is what ad strategy is going to work best for you. And if you're confused about what type of ad strategy would be perfect for you, like I said there, men selling to men, unless in specific demographics, certain strategies work better than other strategies because it's met with high skepticism. Women selling to women is actually completely different strategies from men selling to men. If you're in the fitness space, it's completely different from even in the fitness space, online versus offline. If you're in the fitness space, it's completely different from business. It can be a bit of a minefield for people that haven't been running ads for 13 years like I have, or coaching it for 8.5 years like I have. So what we do is we open up completely free 20 to 30 minute ad strategy building sessions, where we will literally build your ad strategy with you across 20 to 30 minutes. We don't even pitch on it. The reason we can be so confident about that is because the majority of people, we find about 75-80% of the people on those calls, within about 10-15 minutes have already asked us, how does this work for me to do this with you? We go through the whole strategy with them, who they should be targeting, what would work for them, what wouldn't work for them. We customize it to their exact business. They literally walk away with an action plan if they want it, but very often they ask us, how does this work with you? So we can confidently say that we don't go onto those calls to bait and switch or to pitch. It just so happens that many people ask us, how does this work? And that's why it works for us. So if you're interested in an ad strategy session where you will literally walk away with a personalized ad strategy plan, you'll know exactly the type of ad strategies that work for you, your niche, your price points and everything. I'll drop the link down below so you can go through and do so. And if you're already running ads, I'm more than happy for you to share your screen with us, for us to go through your ads and really just audit them the way that we're talking about in this 3-step process. And sure, if you want to work with us in the future, amazing. If not, then it'll be a fun conversation about stuff that I like to talk about. Other than that, hope this video was meaningful to you. Hope it was valuable to you. If it was, let me know below in the comments. And obviously like and subscribe and all the YouTube gibberish. See you in the next video.